26 years, the sport of mixed martial arts has grown from the fringes into mainstream America. And while it's been able to shake the ghost of the idea of human cockfighting, it's been never able to shake its connection to the world of professional wrestling. Now this December, one of Lucha Libre's greatest legacies enters the Combate Americas ring to take on an MMA trailblazer who's looking to solidify his own legacy. This is MMA Mania Bare Bones, Patron versus Ortiz. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here in New York City. Both of you have brought your belts, which are on the line. Neither of the titles are sanctioned, but both of you former world champions in your respective sports, looking to put your titles on the line. Tito, I'll ask you the first question. We know Patron has been a part of Combate Americas pretty much since the beginning. What brought you there, and what brought this fight to be?
Well, actually, last year as I fought Chuck Liddell, I still had the hunger. You know, I finished Christmas, New Year's, my birthday, of course, in January, and I still had the hunger to fight again. You know, I called up Randy Couture, who's former light heavyweight champion of UFC, Hall of Famer also, and I asked him, when you were 43, what made you come back and want to still compete? He's all, Tito, I didn't feel like I was done in the sport. I still had that hunger. I still had that aggression to still compete, and that's all it took me to have that conversation with him. I said, Randy, thank you. Got off the phone with him, talked to my family, talked to my kids, and I said, you know what, guys, I think Dad's going to continue to fight. So, Dad, you can do it. And I reached out to UFC, I reached out to Bellator, then all of a sudden Campbell McLaren reached out to us, and he says, we got an idea for you. We got Alberto Del Rio wants to fight you, and I'll give him respect for that. I got to respect Alberto for picking an opponent like me. I'm vicious, I'm dangerous, I'm one of the most glorified UFC fighters that ever compete in mixed martial arts, and I put my life on the line every time I compete, and I've been doing it for 22 years, and this is not going to change. The only thing that's been missing on my mantle, besides my 5 world titles, is a WWE world title. I've been a fan since I've been a little kid, and you know, this is a dream come true for the child in me and the competitive side of me, and my next opponent is Alberto Del Rio.
Now, Alberto, same question to you. What made you want to come out of MMA retirement, go back into the cage? You fought in Pride. You fought around the world before as a mixed martial artist, even though most people know you as Dos Caras Jr. or as a professional wrestler as Alberto Del Rio or Alberto El Patron. But what brought you that hunger back into you? Tito said he got that hunger back. What drove you?
Well, I've been in Combate Americas since day number 1. Mm-hmm. I started this company since the very first show in Las Vegas, Nevada. I have been competing my entire life, amateur wrestling first, then pro wrestling, and then MMA, back to pro wrestling, back to MMA. And with me, when it comes to me, it was completely different than what it was for Tito. Some people know this, some others don't. That's how Campbell McLaren, my friend and boss, and I started our working relationship, our friendship. He wanted me to fight for Combate when he started, and I said no. You know what? I don't feel that hungry anymore to compete and go back to MMA. But you know, maybe in the future if I change my mind. And then situations in life, like my going through my divorce, the horrible battle for the custody of my children, makes you rethink about the stuff in your life and the people that was there, that stood up behind you when you were going through difficult moments. And Campbell McLaren and the entire company, they were there for me the entire time. So the entire time, in the good ones, bad ones, worst ones, excellent ones. And when I finally put that behind, I said to myself, how you gonna repay these people that was there for you when they didn't really have to? And the answer is, you pay loyalty with loyalty, you know. And the company, Combate Americas, is doing fantastic. We're taking over. We're changing the face of the Latinos around the world. And I've been part of it. So I said, if I go and I take a fight, and I fight for Combate, I'm going to help the company to get to the place where we want to take the company. And of course, I have to say this because for my position in the company, I could have picked anyone to fight and to have that one last fight inside the cage or in MMA, and I could have taken anyone, but there would have been no glory by doing that, you know. And I'm a man of challenge, and in the moment, we heard that Tito was ready to fight. I said yes, Tito. Tito is it's a perfect opponent for me. He's, as everybody know, one of the legends of the sports, a fantastic fighter. But you know, I've been a fighter my entire life. I was fighting in Japan and Latin America while he was doing his thing here with the other company in America, and I was also competing for pro wrestling companies. But when it comes to me, I went from the amateur world, the amateur wrestling world, to pro wrestling and then to MMA. So I'm not just one guy just saying, oh, I don't feel like doing pro wrestling anymore, and I'm going to jump in the cage. I'm ready, and I'm going to be more than ready for December the 7th in McAllen, Texas.
And Tito, we talked about Alberto being an MMA fighter. Have you watched any of his footage, anything from his time in Pride? What's your assessment of Alberto as a mixed martial artist?
Well, you know, I watched all the fights that are on tape. I always do my homework. I'm a professional. I've been doing it, like I say, for 22 years. I've fought every single year the last 22 years, and I got to do my homework. I've done my homework. I've watched Alberto's fights. I see the mistakes he has. I see his strengths. His strengths are my strengths. And a lot of my strengths that I've been building over the last 5 to 6 years with my striking is superior than a lot of fighters that he's competed against. But I'm not taking nothing away from Alberto. I got to respect the guy. He called me out. He wants to fight me. And on December 7th, everybody's going to see what I bring to the table. And I'm excited to do it. And
both of you are known for your outspokenness. Both of you are not ones to hide their opinions of one another. And so far, in the lead up to this, for the most part, both of you have been fairly respectful to one another. Both of you have treated this fight with the respect, you know, two former world champions from different sports competing. Do you feel as it gets closer to the fight that it will get a little bit more personal for either of you?
Oh, definitely, because you're talking about two athletes, two men going inside the cage to trade punches, to go at it. It has to be. And then the more we get involved, the more the fans are going to get involved. And we're talking about a fight, about an event that it's about which side are you on, you know? MMA, pro wrestling, WWE, UFC, Tito, Alberto, one born in Mexico, the other one in America, but both Mexican Americans, because yes, I'm also an American citizen. I got my citizenship back in May, the day of my birthday. And I always say the same. I was born in Mexico, but made in America. It was America the one giving me the opportunity to become Alberto Del Rio, to change my stars, to provide my family with what I always dreamed to be providing my family in the future. I don't know if I would have been able to do that if I would have stayed in Mexico, but it's because I had the cojones to leave everything behind and come to this country. What has given me the opportunity to have my kids having a fantastic life. And going back to what you were saying about Tito and our respect, the respect for each other. There's respect for each other. I respect Tito, his legacy, his career. But as you know, this is MMA, and in the moment you go back and you go inside that cage and they close the door, the respect is gone, you know. And it doesn't matter which side are you on at the end of the day. You're gonna be watching this. You either hate or love Tito, you either hate or love Alberto Del Rio, but you're gonna be freaking watching this because it's gonna be fucking amazing.
And Tito, when he was saying that, you said you're welcome. Anything behind that? I know you've been, both of you have been talking about some of the situations going on with Mexico and Central America immigration. But what are your feelings on Alberto, and what are your feelings of him as a new citizen, making his way from Mexico, leaving it all behind, coming to America, and building essentially a very impressive legacy in pro wrestling?
Well, I took a kind of side note to myself, because when we first met, it was in Tucson, and I was talking to him in the cage, and I asked him, yeah, so you live in Mexico? He goes, no, I live in Texas now. I go, okay, cool. And I know his side on the immigration of having open borders and should give the opportunity for everybody to come in here and live off of our wealth of our country. I don't believe in that. Criminals, sex trafficking, drug smugglers, criminals that should not be in this country, that's when background checks are happening. You had a background check to come to this country. You said that your children were not safe in Mexico, a chance of being kidnapped. Well, when you come to the United States, that safety is there. The reason that border is there and the wall is there is to keep the safety there. And Donald Trump is making sure that happens. And this has been going on way before Donald Trump. Obama did exactly the same thing. He's actually sent back more Mexicans than any president in the history of our country. Now all of a sudden people are against what Trump is trying to do. He's a true American who's not a politician. He's a businessman and trying to make a great country for this America. And that's what's the most important. I want safety for my children. I want safety for everybody else's children. I want our military taken care of. I want more jobs for African American, Mexicans, American people, everybody who lives here the right way should enjoy our peace and our safety and the flourishes that we have. You know, you want to live by the fruits of labor, you got to earn it. And that's by background checks, making sure that the right people are here the right way.
Yeah, but this is the thing. The line is really thin when you talk. Just give me a second. When you talk about things like that, exactly. Yes, we need to protect this country because that's exactly why I have my children in America. Because someone like me with the position I have will put my kids in danger if I have them just in Mexico. But this is the thing. You just said it, and that's the reality of things. Right. Obama deported more people than Trump, but this is the difference between one and the other, or one country or the other. We're not pointing any fingers. Yes, we do have to protect America because it's because of what we do, us as citizens, and the government, what makes America what it is today. Yes. You guys, but this is the difference. This is the thing. You guys, he's pointing fingers towards Mexicans, towards Latinos, saying Mexicans are this, Mexicans are that.
You're generalizing the whole people.
Listen to
it's not
this.
generalizing. He's saying criminals,
we have people from
sex traffickers,
yes,
drug smugglers.
And we have people from different countries going down to Mexico doing unspeakable things.
And they're trying to get through our border.
Doing the same stuff. But you know what's the difference between him and what we do in Mexico? We're not pointing any fingers. We're not saying Americans are doing this or Chinese are doing this or people from Germany are doing that. Unfortunately, that's human nature. You have good people, bad people, but just like you were saying, yes, there's bad Mexicans out there, right, doing unspeakable things, right, but you have great Mexicans,
100%.
like your family, like my family. But we're not pointing any fingers. And that's the problem. In the moment you start pointing fingers, you put that wall, that stupid red hat on the side because it's no longer a hat and a wall. It's a monument of hate. You're telling people...
But it's the ignorance of you not getting educated enough to understand that it's not the factor of that. That is some propaganda that's going by media that people call that racist hate.
There is not.
I worked for Donald Trump in 2005.
You have Mexican blood, but you're not Mexican. And I worked for Donald Trump in 2005. I'm going to tell you this.
If he was racist, he would never give me a job.
If he was... No. You were born in this country. But every time you wear that hat, you tell real Latinos born in Latin America, Mexicans born in Mexico.
Is that why in Tijuana they made a red hat that says "Make Tijuana Great Again"?
Every time you say, they're just messing around. Come on.
Oh, they're messing around. They're messing around.
You're smarter than that, man.
And I know you are too.
Be serious. Be serious.
I'm 100% serious.
In the moment you wear that hat in Mexico, everybody sees you as a racist person.
Okay, so let's put it like this. So you're home, and you had people come visit your home. You didn't know who those people were. Those people stole your food, didn't clean up after themselves, brought other people in. They did the same thing. Would you like those people in your house?
What about the people?
No, answer my question. Would you like those people in your house?
Of course not. But what about the people?
Now let's say those people that came in your home and they kept your house clean, and they gave back and they paid for your bills. They picked up after you if you needed it. They picked up after themselves.
Listen.
Would you let those people stay in your house?
Listen.
No, but answer that. Would you let those people stay in your house?
Of course.
Okay, then. So that's the concept that you need to understand.
What was I saying when we started this interview?
You said that all Mexicans are not being wanted here, and that is not true.
Which
that is
Mexicans?
wrong. You said all Mexicans are not being wanted.
I never said all Mexicans are. It's like
you know what I'm saying? I'm saying criminals. I'm saying sex traffickers. I'm saying drug smugglers.
Of course.
Those are the ones. Those are the ones that we don't want. As in Donald Trump.
No, but you're not saying that.
No, he didn't say
no
that.
No way. He has been pointing fingers against Mexicans and Latinos since day number one. Since day number one. In the moment you do that, you're closing the doors to everybody. I remember you saying once you said to me, hey, you have locks and doors in your house and blah, blah, blah. Yes, of course, and that's what we do. That's what we need to do.
I have walls, I have fence around my house,
by doing that, you're preventing everybody from coming to your house. I'm going to tell you this. That bad people you're talking about, that bad people, they're going to continue coming into America. They're going to find a way. He's building that wall. 100 meters up, they're going to bring a ladder 102 meters up or down. That's not going to change. And the only ones coming after that is going to be the bad people. But you're going to be closing the door to good people, like your family, like my family, to come and give a good...
Get in the right way,
the right way.
You got in the right way.
The right way, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter... if you're someone good, if they're good inside you, it doesn't matter if you came here legally or illegally. Because that's what your father, your mother, your grandpas, they taught you to be that good person in life, right? So it doesn't matter if you're here with documents or no documents. If there's good in you, you're gonna become a good citizen. You're gonna pay your taxes. You're gonna do what you have to do. I have known thousands of people with documents, with millions of people with documents and doing unspeakable things in America.
Right.
So that's the thing. I'm not against taking care of America, protecting America. But that's what I'm saying. This is a very thin line. When you talk about politics, when you want to talk about these things, because there's a lot of things where you are completely right.
I'm talking about being an American.
I'm completely right. Hey, I'm an American.
I'm not a Democrat.
I'm an American too. I'm not Democrat.
I'm a free thinker. I'm a person who
I'm
thinks
the same way. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. But the one bringing Trump and all that stuff to this table, to this interview, is you, not me. The people, they're gonna be with you or with me, against you or against me. You're gonna have Mexicans supporting you. I'm gonna have Americans supporting me. That's the way it is. We're doing this for our people at the end of the day. Mexicans, Americans. It doesn't matter if you're Mexican, Chinese, African, American. It doesn't matter if you're brown, African American or yellow. It doesn't matter, man. Yeah. At the end,
but if you break the law, then you should be out of our country.
That's a different thing, because that's the same is gonna go in Mexico. We have people doing unspeakable things in Mexico from many.
Yeah, but they can pay their way out of it. They can pay their way out of it.
Well, unfortunately, yes.
That's correct.
You were born. You were lucky to be born here.
100%.
But that's the reason your family escaped from situations like that.
I'm a fourth generation here. I was California
exactly.
before the United States
however it was.
California.
Okay, your story is different, but there's millions of stories out there.
And I want to show them that through hard work and dedication, they're able to get there and do it the right way.
You had illegal people coming here, good people.
So let's put the
working hard and then bringing
all these people do come over, and they do come here and say they do good for our country. Then all of a sudden they break a law and they go back. But they were saying, oh, Alberto Del Rio said it's great for them to come to this country, but
I never said that. It's you saying that stuff. No. You also have people that was born in America doing horrible things.
Yeah, and they go to prison.
And they're in prison, exactly. So if you're Mexican, if you're from anywhere in the world and you come to America or Mexico or anywhere else and you do something bad, you have to go to jail. It doesn't matter, man.
Let's just move on.
We talk forever about
Let's talk about the fight.
Yeah, let's talk about the fight. This is the
man.
quintessential American experience right here. We're talking society, we're talking politics.
I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Now you can talk about, Latinos, you can talk shit about Tito, and some Americans can say whatever about my political beliefs.
This ended up becoming a backdoor pilot for CNN. I anticipate us being talking heads very soon. But let us get back to the fight. It was your fault. I know, I'll take the blame. No, Tito was the one who said
I see my opinion, man. My opinion, and
we've got a lot more to get through here. Yes. I'm just gonna throw away my questions here. Let's just talk. We've got these two belts right here, and these are two symbols of both of your careers and basically the legacies of each sport. We've got the WWE title and we've got the UFC title. What does it mean for both of you to not only put your pride and your beliefs, but these symbols of your career, of your legacies, on the line against one another?
Well, this is my idea. I wanted it. I want that belt. That's how bad, and it gives me motivation that I haven't had in a long, long time. Because now I see an opportunity to get something that I've always wanted as a kid. And I still have that kid inside of me. I bust my ass for 22 years to have something. And now I have a chance to have something. And that's going to be that world title belt right there.
Alberto, what do you think of Tito wanting to put his belt on the line, and what convinced you to put this one?
No, that's fantastic, and that's actually a really good idea from Tito. Yes, it was Tito's idea. I know I'm the one with the bright ideas most of the time, but this idea wasn't mine. It was Tito's, and I told Campbell McLaren, hey, that's a fantastic idea because we're putting our legacy, something that we worked so freaking hard to get to put around our waist. Regardless if it's pro wrestling or MMA, we both work hard, and it wasn't easy. And even though they're not sanctioned by anyone, but it's sanctioned by us because it's in our
my legacy.
It's in our trophy room. It tells you everything about us as personas, as athletes. It's blood, sweat, and tears, and that's what we're putting on the line.
And both of you have been on the management side as managers, or your work with Combate, and I believe you run Nacion Lucha Libre as well. Yes. Let's talk about something that was a big conversation last year, and it involved you, Tito, Golden Boy MMA.
Yes.
Very briefly, I want your thoughts on how everything went with that, and how that led you here to Combate, and Alberto, your thoughts on it if you saw what they did last year.
Well, I was promises, a bunch of empty promises, and De La Hoya had no business being in MMA, and I thought he did. We had a business meeting, and he said everything out and said everything I'm going to do on pay-per-view, and all of a sudden our fight was on Fight.com, and that was it. They dropped the ball over and over, and I just saw mistake after mistake. And just being here with Combate over the last few days, they're doing 20 times better than what De La Hoya even got a chance to do, and I'm very impressed with it because I know now this fight's being pressed the right way, the way a fight should be pushed. Oscar should be staying boxing, strictly boxing. Don't ever step in MMA because he doesn't know what he's doing. As people noticed in the press conference, he couldn't even remember the fighters' names, and that's very disrespectful towards the fighters. But Oscar gave me an opportunity to fight Chuck Liddell, and I wanted to get a rematch. Chuck Liddell called me out. Once again, I was trying to enjoy retirement, and I just don't like retirement. I feel too damn young, and the fight lasted 4.5 minutes, and I really just was disappointed about the whole outcome of the whole deal, but deep down inside, I was very happy of the outcome of the fight because I prevailed. I put in an 18-week camp. I took the fight super seriously, and I got my hand raised, and that's what I was dominated and meant to do.
Yeah, I watched that. Of course, if you are an MMA practitioner, fan, however you want to call yourself, you had to watch that fight. You're talking about two of the biggest names in the sport, and just like Tito is saying, yes, unfortunately, it was not what people was expecting to be. Yes, maybe De La Hoya needs to stick with boxing and put MMA on the side, but that's not what we have in Combate Americas. We've been doing this for almost 6 years, and Campbell McLaren, Mike Afromowitz, and everybody in the company, they know what they're doing. They know 100%. Where we're taking the company. They're working really hard. And I promise you, amigos, I'm not trying to go back into talking about politics, but for me, this company is amazing because they're giving an opportunity to Mexicans, to Latinos, when they try to have this opportunity in other places, and they said no. It doesn't matter. It's the reality of the world. That's human nature. Like, you go to some places and they just say no because of the color of your skin, unfortunately. I've been working for all the important companies in the world. Yes, not the UFC, but MMA companies in Japan, pro wrestling companies around the world, and it was always the same. I had to not just knock the door, kick the fucking door down in order to do my stuff, to show the world my skills and who I am. And I always had the same promise in every single company. Alberto, come here and we're going to support Latinos. We're going to support Mexicanos. And the moment I signed that contract, all those conversations were gone. But here in Combate Americas, they've been doing the same since day number one. They're giving my countrymen and women and Latinos an opportunity to show the world why we are. Again, doesn't matter about your political belief, my political belief. We have Mexican blood in us, and we're proud to have a place where you, if you're Mexican, if you're Latino, if you're American, if you're Chinese or from South Africa, from wherever you are, if you want a spot, if you want to be somebody in this company, you have in this sport, you have a company that is going to give you that opportunity, regardless of the color of your skin, your religion, your gender, education, or whatever. All you got to do is bring your talent inside the cage.
This fight's going to be on pay-per-view. Gentlemen, before we'll get to predictions on how you believe you'll win the fight. But my final question, how do you feel this event will translate to the entire country? And do you feel that this is a tipping point for Hispanics, Latinos in mixed martial arts?
I think this really just comes down to showing who's the champ of their peoples. Who's has worked the hardest, who's going to make the biggest impact in this sport on December 7th and due to entertainment value. But not only entertainment value, but the vicious fighting style that'll get his hand raised. And I know it'll be me. Look me in the eyes.
That's what I'm doing. The moment we started talking about this fight, I said yes because I know I'm going to win this thing. I have never done anything and just leave it right there in the middle. I have always finished everything. I have always been the best one in what I do. And in the moment I said yes, I knew I'm going inside the cage against one of the best ones in the sport, and that's why I'm taking this the way I'm taking it. Completely focused, completely serious. I left my kids at home. I left my hometown. I moved to Arizona to train with the best team for my training camp. They're all helping me. They all want to see me winning. I'm busting my ass. I'm busting my trasero every single day because yes, I retired from MMA many years back, but I know the sport. The business has changed and it's different than those days when I was fighting. It was just a collision of styles, and now it's completely different. But now, I'm with the right people to be completely more than ready for December the 7th in McAllen, Texas. All I gotta say is this fight is gonna be freaking awesome, and I know you're gonna be watching, and I know you're gonna be enjoying it, and I know you're gonna be loving it, and you know Alberto Del Rio is gonna be winning this thing at the end of the night.
Smash you, dude. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, my eyes are wide open. They've been open the whole time.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well, it's going to be December 7th, live on pay-per-view. Alberto, what's your prediction? How you see this ending?
I cannot make any predictions right now because this is MMA. Anything can happen. You can win in the first round, second round, third round, submission or knockout. But I'm 100% sure I'm winning this thing. Like I've been saying to everybody, I'm not gonna let my family down, my people down, and myself down. I'm doing this for the right reasons. I'm doing this for the right people. It's not just for me. Like my dad, mi jefecito. My dad asked me, why are you doing this, Alberto? I just want to fucking know if you're doing this for the right reasons. Because you know you have nothing to prove to the world. You have accomplished everything you wanted. And I said, no, I have something to prove. And his face changed completely. Like he was about to be mad at me. And I said, no, I have something to prove to myself and to my children, to prove to myself that I'm still that amazing athlete, that amazing man, and to show my children that is a fucking superhero.
Tito, your retort.
My retort is this doesn't get past the first round. And I guarantee you ain't get past the first round. Alberto's never fought anybody like me. Nobody that has beat him has ever fought anybody like me. I'm a former world champion for a reason. I've been fighting this game of mixed martial arts for a reason. Alberto Del Rio, if you make it to the second round, I'll donate $50,000 to whatever children's charity you choose for. If you can make it to the second round.
Fantastic. It's fantastic. You will give those $50,000 at the end of the night to my charity, Lucha por
Yes.
Ellos in Mexico.
Yes.
Fantastic deal.
I will do that.
Awesome.
All right? So not only my belt's on the line, but I'm willing to do that. But I guarantee you, partner,
There you go. And I know
you'll
you're a
bid
man
off
of your
way
word. So,
more than you chew.
so get that check ready, my friend.
That's all right. No one's seeing it. When you're waking up looking at the lights, you'll be wondering what happened.
We'll see. You just keep talking and saying that
No,
to
I
yourself.
ain't talking nothing. I don't talk, buddy.
That's fine. You're doing it now. So
And you can follow me on my YouTube
we'll
and
see,
you can watch
they'll see
all
it.
my work I do.
Well,
And all the people you're training with, I've already beat them, buddy. I've already beat them in the first round. They didn't even last 2.5 minutes.
Man.
Maybe you could last a lot longer than 2.5 minutes. I guarantee you.
Well-
December 7th in Hidalgo, Texas. Toda la gente. Mira de pelea. Yo soy el fuerte. A ganar.
I feel like all that's been needed to say has been said. We've got 2 belts on the line, 2 legacies, and now $50,000 to a charity of Alberto's choosing if he makes it into the second round. The stakes are high. The time is tight. December 7th, live on pay-per-view. Make sure you follow MMA Mania across all forms of social media and the mothership, MMAmania.com, to find out more about this fight and for full coverage of it when we bring it to you on December 7th as these 2 men go at it live on pay-per-view. Tito, Alberto, thank you so much for joining us. This has been MMA Mania Bare Bones. I'm Matt Ryan, and these 2 men are about to beat the shit out of each other.
I'm taking that, brother.